The map is Bel'shir Vestige, presented by SK Plans. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position, the blue Protoss from Kespa Team 8. His name is Argo, real name, Kim Jae-hoon.
His opponent playing for WOONGJIN Stars, spawning as a red Zerg on the top left position. His name is Zero, real name Kim Myung-un.
Kim Myung-un, one of the three Kims from WOONGJIN Stars. Basically, three of the top players from WOONGJIN Stars, the three Kims, of course.
Kim Min-chul, Kim Myung-un, Kim Yoo-jin.
Yes, and those players, respectively.
Sulky, Zero, SOS.
Basically, the top three players from WOONGJIN Stars, but it's funny, it's like they actually have like a top like 6 players on their team. If you like add in everyone else who does good on their team, like Free, Light.
You know, when Argo made his debut, he was talking about how he didn't get any playing time, even though he was playing good in the practice house, because these players on the main lineup, they were doing so great that the coach didn't even thought about replacing any one player for one of the younger players out there.
I mean, it's just, I don't know what happened to WOONGJIN Stars, man, why they're doing so good this season, but everything, they're just all performing so phenomenal. They're all doing extremely well here.
It's not like WOONGJIN Stars has a, key ace player. Well, now they have SOS, but before that, they had many players who were doing well, and they just have a really solid lineup.
Yeah. Depth is, I guess, the best word to use here. They have more depth than any other team.
I mean, comparing this to like a team like KT Rolster, yes, KT Rolster might have a player like Flash, or even STX Soul might have players like Innovation, but the other players need to perform at the same level. If not, then they're not going to win any Pro League matches.
Exactly. Basically, WOONGJIN Stars has like 3 Flashes on their team, and that's why they're in first place.
Now, they're not as good as Flash. We can tell you that. Well,
I would argue
for
SOS is better.
Yeah.
I would argue SOS is better.
We could argue for SOS.
I'd say that Sulky and Zero are not on Flash's level. They're pretty close. I think they could definitely take a game off of
with Flash's TBC, I would say, game off from like, every 4 or 5 times. Because Flash's TBC,
it's very good.
Just pretty much puts the Zerg player in a hectic position, but this is a PvZ, and Argo starting with the Nexus first. Wow.
I love what he's doing with that pro, man. Just dancing it all around. Maybe that's gonna it's a secret plan to annoy Zero or something.
Or maybe just listening to the new Psy song. Just dancing around before checking to see if his opponent is going for the hatchery at the third base. Gonna try to delay it as long as possible with the probe.
Something I've noticed here, that cannon is actually up very late here, so I hope Argo plans on walling that off really soon here. He can, of course, cancel whatever it is. The third hatchery does go down. I'm pretty sure that Argo knows that's going down because he did spot the drone that was chasing behind the Zerglings to that location.
There we go.
Yep, so of course, the pylon going down, that's going to buy Argo enough time before that cannon finishes, and the Zerglings got to get out of there.
That was actually tricky because the pylon was getting low on the HP, and I think he could have actually sniped it.
I think it was just good timing for him. It's good timing by Argo.
In the end, it worked out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely. And look at this. Argo being really annoying here, just trying to bait out some deaths here with the Zerglings, and Zero falling for it, losing a few Zerglings there, man.
Wow, that's a really tricky position because the Zerg players might think, oh, that's out of the range from the cannon, so I can try to snipe it with the Zerglings, but it's not going to work out. The cannon is actually in the range of the Cybernetics core and the Zerglings, so...
Pro gamers are especially good at knowing exactly, those minute little details, like how far away can that cannon shoot those units? If they attack my core from this position, they will always get hit.
That was a lot more crucial back in Brood War. In Starcraft2, it's it's all tight wall, and the cannons, you can see how much range they have when once you actually start building them and you have it queued up, you get the little white dot around the cannon.
Yeah, that is true. I actually hated SimCity. Brood War was so hard, but
that's the reason why I only played on Fighting Spirit. I know how to wall on the map.
Alright, so it looks like we have Stargate Tech on the way for Argo here. Very common opening for Protoss players nowadays, so not surprising to see that. And from our Zerg player, he's just getting up his gas, really droning up very hard right now, focusing on his economy. And making a few lings here now. He's getting 4 out. And one thing I love when Zerg players do is, against a Protoss player, a lot of times they'll try to take a like a fast third, and
we don't see a warp gate tech.
But you're right.
And we saw a fast double gas in the natural. I saw it put it down before the 6 minutes. So I think he might do something that Stork loves to do. Actually, he did it on this map. He did it on Neoplanet as on the special. He might just, go for his... He might just delay the tech to get some more gas-heavy units out, or he might even transition into Stargate after this, because you know, it's either a huge mistake for Argo to not get the warp gate, or did he actually finish it before I saw everything?
No, he didn't. He didn't start researching
it, right?
I think this may actually be an error from him. Because he is getting the robo, and he's getting another sentry out, but he's not researching warp gate. And the thing is, he would just go ahead and research +1 attack if he wanted to heavily commit.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I might say some wrong few things here and there, but I just didn't see the warp gate tech today, and I'm just like, huh? Is this a huge mistake, or does Argo have something prepared behind it?
That is no mistake from you, man. That's a mistake from him. He's even adding 3 more gateways on. He is completely forgotten.
Yeah, this is a regular, you know, you're supposed to get the warp gate tech, and then you get the robo out, you get the Colossus out, you get the gateway units out, and there we go. We have the warp gate, so huge mistake for Argo.
That was definitely not what he was intending there. He's probably thinking to himself, oh,
you know,
crap.
If he actually noticed that a little bit earlier, he could try to go into the mass air style.
Yeah, well, he's just going to have to deal with the unfortunate situation that he's in here. I'm sure that Argo can come back from this. It's not like a huge deal, but it is pretty significant if the Zerg player decides to apply any type of pressure early on in the game or in the mid-game stages. Luckily for Argo, Zero has no idea about this.
Zero has no idea, and his tech is already on time, except for the warp gate tech, so it's all good.
A little bit of harassment here from the Phoenix is just trying to snipe off a few of those drones there on the gas, and making as most out of his Phoenixes as possible here. And now we have the Zerglings moving in, trying to do a little bit of harassment here, but that sentry, or sorry, those sentries and that Stalker will scare them off for now.
Now we do have 6 more Zerglings coming out, and if Zero actually decides to harass more at the third base, then it might be a little bit hard for Argo, because remember, the warp gate tech is almost done, but if he hits it before the warp gate tech is done, then he's only going to have 1 Stalker and 2 sentries at that base to defend against it. So that's why Argo, he needs to get a little wall over there with the pylon, and he needs to get the cannon down.
Yeah, look at this. We have 4 Zealots in production from Argo here without the use of the warp gate, but warp gate basically finished now, so I guess, well, when they're done, we'll see some warp gates here. And also Colossus range, extended thermal lance on the way, +1 attack. Colossi as well. This third base well underway, almost complete here. The problem for Argo is Zero is going to go for an attack, I feel, pretty soon here, because he's got a lot of Hydras out. The range is almost done, +1 almost complete as well, and even making a 4th hatchery behind this.
Yeah, well, Argo saw that the Hydras were out, and he saw exact number of how many Hydras there were out, and all he has to do is abuse the natural base with the 2 cliffs, or even go to the third base and abuse a small choke using the force fields and just get the Colossus out. And the key point is not lose the Colossus.
Exactly. I think that Zero just waiting for that Hydra speed to complete before attacking. The speed does finish here. Also, we have a Spire on the way behind this. I think that we're going to see Zero go into Mutaling from these Hydras based on the fact that he's not committing to a lot of roaches.
That is quite true. And it seems like Zero, he wants to make sure that he gets a lot of ground army by taking the rocks out. Now, Spire Tech, you could go into 2 choices. You could go into Mutas, you could go into Corruptor. So we're going to have to see what Zero decides to do. Remember, Argo did start out with the Stargates, and Zero doesn't know about it. So if he goes into Mutas, he already has 4 Phoenixes out on the map. All he has to do is add a second Stargate and start getting more Phoenixes for the main army.
It looks like we have a bit of an attack here from our Zerg player, Zero. He's getting a very nice round here from all angles, and well,
where's the Mothership Core?
There's no Mothership Core. There's just no units here, and I think the game is just going to end anticlimactically. GG. Well, that happened.
No warp gate tech means your gateway army is going to be outlaid, and because of that, I think he just forgot about so many things that he should have had by that point. The crucial thing being Mothership Core. Also, he spent a lot of minerals and gas into trying to get the Voider out, so he thought that he could defend against some Hydras really easily, but that wasn't the case because Zero, he just had too many units, and Argo did not have an answer.
I think Argo just completely had a brain fart that game.
He pulled a Brood War Jaehoon style.
He did pull a Brood War Jaehoon style. So unfortunately, guys, the score is 0-2. WOONGJIN Stars in the lead here. Team 8 not having the best show today, unfortunately.